One of the largest earthquakes in recorded human history earlier today struck offshore of Russia's Kamchatka Peninsula, resulting in almost the entirety of the Pacific Ocean being hit by some form of tsunami. California got hit by an up to 1.12 meter high tsunami, much of Alaska received tsunami waves between 5 and 82 centimeters in height, Hawaii received an up to 1.74 meter high tsunami, while at Midway Atoll, a 2.81 meter high tsunami was recorded. Yet, this is just the impacts it had on portions of the United States, as while I was writing this video, a 2.15 meter tsunami struck a portion of the Galapagos Islands, and soon we will see how high the tsunami waves will be when it strikes the rest of South and Central America. While for most impacted regions, the tsunamis did not cause severe damage, the country which did not share this fate was Russia itself. I have geolocated that a 6 meter or 19.7 foot high tsunami struck the Kuril Island's largest city, Severodvinsk, which destroyed or badly damaged its main port facilities and near coastal infrastructure. And on higher ground, away from where the tsunami inundated, essentially every building in Severodvinsk received some form of damage, with almost every structure having their chimneys in particular collapse. If a 6 meter high tsunami struck here, then in all likelihood parts of Kamchatka may have been hit by an up to 15 meter high tsunami. And I want to note that the earthquake damage I just described in Severodvinsk was consistent with MMI 7.5 shaking, while the far larger city of Petropavlovsk-Kamchatsky experienced MMI 8 intensity shaking, so structural damage is likely more severe there. If I was to simply copy and paste the same rate of damage seen in Severodvinsk to Petropavlovsk-Kamchatsky, then we end up with at least $600 million in damage. And the ground motion the earthquake caused was not brief, as it lasted for a whopping 3 minutes and 51 seconds, meaning any damage that developed early on in a structure was soon greatly exacerbated as ground motion continued. The simulation I am showing in the background gives a good indication of how deadly and damaging MMI 8 intensity shaking is. The reason why I am mentioning this is while the median USGS model estimate for total damage is probably a large overestimate, I can at least confirm the lowermost 10% estimate as a true minimum figure at this point for both deaths and damage. The extent of the region moved by the megathrust earthquake was massive, measuring 390 kilometers long and 140 kilometers wide, which I have highlighted here. While segments of this area moved at varying amounts, the total motion was as high as a whopping 10.5 meters or 34.4 feet. Now, just like the magnitude 7.4 earthquake that struck Kamchatka 10 days ago on July 20th, this magnitude 8.8 earthquake also seemingly caused a change in behavior at one of the region's volcanoes. For reference, generally speaking, earthquakes can only sometimes cause a volcano to erupt or change behavior if they both cause a volcano's magma chamber to experience MMI 5 or higher shaking, and the volcano is either already erupting or already primed for an eruption in the near future. With that in mind, since Kamchatka and the Kuril Islands have a very high abundance of volcanoes, 68 active volcanoes experience MMI 5 or greater shaking. 3 of these volcanoes have been erupting intermittently for several months: Kuremsky, Bezimiany, and Klyuchevskoy. Klyuchevskoy, which had been erupting at a low rate, had its eruption suddenly escalate due to the magnitude 8.8 earthquake, going from a weak volcanic eruption with occasional ash emissions to continuous ash emissions via a violent Strombolian eruption. A flow of lava is now advancing down Klyuchevskoy's southwest slope, and several 100-meter-high lava fountains are visible, with plumes of ash rising to elevations of around 20,000 feet. In other words, Klyuchevskoy's eruption intensified. Many aftershocks are now expected to follow at a decreasing rate as the days progress, with the average largest aftershock following a main shockquake being 1.2 magnitudes lower than the main shock. Thus, during the next month, around 19,000 aftershocks are expected to strike, with a 77% chance of one or more of these aftershocks being a magnitude 7 or higher quake. Stay tuned for more updates.